So what's up guys, we're going to be making the exhaust finally for the RB. So here's the RB. This isn't a new sight for most of you, but if you haven't seen it, then here she is. She's a nice, lovely RB20 with a nice big turb ski on her. And we got it tuned, and for that, I just made like a cheap little hood exit. It cost maybe 20 bucks to make the hood exit, and I did that just so we can have our wideband plugged into it, and we can get the exhaust away from the engine bay. So we got it tuned like that, and now we need to make the actual exhaust. So if you notice, we already have this piece on here. It's a 4-bolt to V-band. I had to make that because I actually bought a 4-bolt to V-band, but the size V-band that it came with is a little bit bigger than all the 2.5-inch V-bands that I could find. I was just like, okay, this is dumb. It's not gonna work. So I just made my own, and this is all stainless steel. And we're only doing 2.5-inch piping because one of the things that I'm trying to achieve with this is it to not be excessively loud, like how it was with the 3-inch hood exit. So we're only doing 2.5-inch piping. Another reason for that is 2.5-inch is substantially cheaper than 3-inch, and in the future we might go 3-inch, we'll see. But I don't want it to be too loud because I'm in Southern California and we have these stupid exhaust laws, so I don't really want to get into that, but we're doing 2.5-inch, not 3, unfortunately. So we're going to be going from this 4-bolt to 2.5-inch, and it's going to go over, down, we're going to have the little flex section, and then it's going to come back up, and I want it to 90 over to here and have it come out of here. So we're going to have the exhaust 90 over and come to here because that's when the frame rails go back up. So we have plenty of room and it won't have to go into the actual cabin, so we won't have any heat issues in the cabin. And it's only going to be on this side because our exhaust is only on this side, so I'm not going to have it go on the other side as well. The sound will be off on both sides because that side will be longer than this side, so it'll probably sound like a Subaru. So the sound will be off, and this is literally like the first time I'm making an exhaust apart from the cheap little hood exit, so I don't really know all like the acoustics and everything for it to how to like achieve a nice sound. So we're just doing this just as like a learning process and to get better with TIG welding. So just like how we have that 4 bolts thing that I already made, we have a part of our downpipe already made. So I made this, we have this angle here, and then it goes straight and then down, and then we're going to add the flex section, which is this guy. We're going to weld it down to there, and then from there it's going to 90 up. But I want to put a V-band somewhere around here after this, and probably like right after the next 90, because I want this section to be easily removed. If you haven't seen the dyno video, definitely check it out. I'll put the video up in the corner. We got it tuned, and we used a hub dyno instead of a roller dyno, and I noticed that it comes to like here. So the door has to be open already and all that stuff, but that means that this will be in the way. So I want to be able to have that easily removed so we can throw this hood exit on for getting it tuned, and then we can just hook up that section once we're done. Because we are going to have to go back to the tuner because we're only on 11 psi right now, and we're probably going to push that up to like 16 or 17. So we're going to have to go back, but for now we're good with this. So I want to get this done and then have it easily removable, so once we do go back we can just throw that on and it'll make life so much easier. So my welds are usually pretty ass, but can we just take a minute to appreciate how decent from like here to here looks? Like that might be the best weld I've ever done. Look at that nice smooth transition in there. Welds look decent overall. There's no holes. This section is done. So now we can take this section, fully weld around here, and then we can put the 90 on this side. And then I want to have like how this like that's going to be the flex, and then 90. I want to have somewhere around here the second V-band so we can still finagle it out of the engine bay. So now we have this section fully welded. Everything is all good all the way around, no holes or nothing. And now all we have to do is add to that section there to do the 90. So we got to throw this in the 240 and see how far down we have to go from that point. So now I have the downpipe in, and it looks good. We have good clearance between the valve cover, and it goes pretty even with it. Down here we have really good clearance between the header and the pipe, and also the block and the pipe. The only thing that's sort of close is the steering rack is sort of close to the flex section. So I'm going to turn the wheel both ways, do full lock, make sure that we're not going to be interfering with the steering rack. And I don't think we will be, but it's better to double check and make sure. So now we got our piece cut, and while the downpipe was on, I went under and I marked out how this needs to go. So we line up those two lines there. That's what's nice about having this flex piece, is we can get it pretty close with this weld, and then we'll have room to adjust it. And this piece is not going to have an exhaust hanger on it, but the piece that it connects to will, and that piece will also have the resonator on it, so that'll hold this in the shape that we need it to be in. So I put the downpipe back in, and we have that one piece on, that 90. As you can see right there, and we have plenty of room everywhere we need. And you can see it actually doesn't go lower than the frame rail, which is perfect, so it won't be a clearance issue. So now we have to put a V-band on it, and then we can pipe back, and right where that heat shield is on the right of the trans is where our resonator is going to go. And then we have to figure out where we're going to put the exhaust hangers. We have to see if we can make the stock locations work, and we're going to have to build them ourselves because I don't have those anymore. So here's the downpipe, here's the progress we made so far. We now have this flex section fully welded all the way around, no holes or nothing, so everything's good there. Now we got to do this V-back. So I have it tacked on right now, and we got to put some solar flux on the inside. So the reason we have to put solar flux on the inside is because with stainless steel and titanium and stuff like that, you have to shield the backside of the weld or the weld's going to break easier than these welds, which have been shielded. I've been using solar flux to do that, and you could also just have argon running through it. Now I would love to do that, but unfortunately I just have that guy, the little can. I went to refill both the cans, and they only had that can. I guess they're doing exchanges rather than refilling. All they had was an 80, and my 155 I have to get that refilled Monday from a different place. That's all we have for right now, so I can't do the two. I don't have the dual flow regulator flow meter thing, so we're just using that and some solar flux, which is this stuff right there. Just mix it with some methanol, spread it around in there, and then it shields your weld. So here's the downpipe, like 95% complete. Like everything's all fully welded all the way around. No holes, nothing. Everything is looking good. I had the V-band on there because stainless steel warps really easily, so I didn't want it to warp. I wanted it to make sure that it could still fit on the other V-band. So now the last thing that we have to do to this piece right here, we have to put the bung for the wideband. So we're going to take a marker and we're going to mark the inside, and then we are going to drill it out, and then we're going to weld this on, and then the downpipe will be complete. Here she is, guys. She's all done. We got our O2 sensor bung all welded up. We don't have any holes anywhere, so we shouldn't have any exhaust leaks. So now we can throw this on, put the O2 sensor in, and then, you know what, let's just start the car up and then let it warm up and, you know, just hear it. Make sure that it doesn't sound like there's an exhaust leak. So you almost don't even hear it at all from up here. You can just hear it from down here. It's crazy. This motor sounds insane. I don't know if it's the manifold that makes it sound like this, or that's just how RBs sound. Honestly, it sounds like a V8. When it's idling, it idles like a V8. It's insane. Good news is no exhaust leaks, nothing. There was literally like you couldn't hear the sound from up here anywhere. And I was feeling around the welds to see if I could feel any air coming out, and I couldn't. So this is the start of our mid pipe. This is what's going to be connecting to the downpipe, and then on the other side we're going to have the resonator. So I marked out roughly what length the pipe needs to be. It's a little bit longer than where I want the resonator to be, so if we need to cut then we can. But now I'm going to weld on the V-band to it, and then we're going to go under the car and we're going to see how it looks. And if we like it, we're going to add the resonator on the end. So here's what we have so far with the mid pipe. We've got this part coming off of the down pipe, still like angles down. So I put a pie cut in there It's a 4.5 degree one. It's just tack welded right now because it looked like it was going to work when I was under there. So we're going to see if that's enough angle. It didn't really need that much, and because we have the flexible section in the downpipe, we're able to adjust it if we need to. So I'm just letting it cool down for a second, and then we're going to go into the car and we're going to see how she fits up. So as you saw, we test fit the resonator. I just marked these 2 lines there, and then I actually did a horizontal line there, so I know how far in to go to get it lined up where I want it. While I was under there, I was thinking, wow, this is kind of close to the trans mount, and if I ever need to drop the trans for whatever reason, I'll have to take the exhaust off, and that would suck. But then I remembered, well, we have this V-band here, and then after here it's going to go straight and then going to 90. I'm thinking either right where the 90 starts or right where the 90 ends, put another V-band, so this whole section, just one V-band, and it drops down. So we've made a good amount of progress since the last time I picked up the camera. That is the section after the resonator. Under here, you see we have the resonator. It's being held up by that jack stand. Unfortunately, the jack stand doesn't hold it up high enough to where it's actually going to sit, but it does hold it up because the weight of the resonator causes it to drop. Right now we're working on from the resonator back. It has to go here, and then it has to actually bend towards the drive shaft, and then we have to kick it back. And then once it gets to there, that open section, that's where it's going to start the 90, and then we have to dip it down under the frame rail and then go back up and go above that little bracket right there, and then it'll pop out of there. We'll have to get a hole saw and drill through there, and I'm not looking forward to that part. But so far it looks pretty good. It's just tack welded together right now just so we can get a good fit on it. And once we get to the section where we're going to put the V-band on, then we're going to fully weld the piece because the piece will be pretty much complete. And then we have to figure out where we're going to put the exhaust hangers. With the way it's sitting now, I'm going to see if maybe I can just get away with having one in the back holding it up. We'll see. We'll put one in the back. We'll see how sturdy it is. And if we need to add one near the front, then we can. It's not a big deal. But off the turbo, it's actually like really, really solid. Like the whole downpipe doesn't move at all. The only section that moves is after the little flex section there. So that gives us our adjustability. So we made some good progress on the mid-pipe. We have everything is all welded up except for this V-band. I got to finish welding that, but everything else is pretty good. The welds look terrible, but there's no holes in them, so we shouldn't have an exhaust leak. And we are going to wrap it with exhaust wrap. So that'll cover all the ugly welds, but that will also keep the heat contained within the pipe. So now I have the mid-pipe back on, and I mocked up a hanger for it. The only way that I could get it to support all the weight is having it go across both sides. There's a nut welded to the chassis on both sides. I guess it's for like something for the back seats, and we don't have the back seats anymore, so we're just going to use them for our exhaust hangers. So I picked these up for a couple bucks. They're a little soft, so they do flex a bit, but having just one on one side was not enough. The exhaust would literally like droop down quite a bit. With the way it's set up right now, it's actually supporting it on its own. I don't have the jack on there anymore, so we know that it's sturdy enough. However, now it's sitting pretty low, so we have the resonator hanging pretty low compared to where the frame rails are. I'm going to put a bend in the middle there, so it makes it kind of like a V, so it bends upwards, and then it'll lift the exhaust up a little bit more, and then once we get it where we want it, then we can weld it. So now I have the hanger actually tack welded to the pipe, and as far as clearance, got it. It hangs a little bit, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. It doesn't hang low anywhere else, and then it still comes out of the same area, and it's all hooked up to the V-band on the downpipe. So the mid-pipe is almost done. I'm gonna take it off, fully weld the hanger onto it, make sure it's secure, and then the mid-pipe is done. So a little update on where we are. That is about to be a hole. I'm very, very nervous at this point, not even gonna lie. Right here is what we have so far on, I guess it's the tailpipe. It's the last section of the exhaust. I need to know when to kick it back because up in here, we have to go up higher and then we have to straighten out. So I think I got it up high enough. I might need to add a little bit more, but I think we're pretty close. However, because I can't see from this side, I don't know exactly what we need. So now's the time to cut the hole. So now we have our hole, so now we just have to get that pipe to come out of here. So it's all hooked up now, it's all tack welded, and it looks pretty good. Our tailpipe is good to go, so I'm going to take it off, fully weld everything, and then we'll throw it back on. So here she is, the finished tailpipe. It's got 8 times that it changes the direction. Pipe cuts are awesome, they look great, and they allow you to change the angle very easily. But when you do pipe cuts, you have to weld so much more and it takes so much longer. The whole exhaust is essentially done. All we have to do now is throw it back under the car, make sure it still lines up, which it should. There's no reason why it wouldn't. So there we go, our entire exhaust, all the way from the turbo to the resonator, downpipe, all of that is now complete. So now it's actually daytime, so I want to start the 240 up and see how this side exit sounds, see the difference between how it sounds on that side of the car and this side of the car, and make sure we don't have any exhaust leaks. So that last clip that you watched was actually my first time hitting the rev limiter in this car. I haven't really had the chance to drive this car that often because there's a few things that I want to get done before we get it on the road so it looks more like a car. The closest I've gotten, I mean, I've hit redline, like I've gone up to 75, which is where the rev limit is set, roughly around there. But I wasn't holding it at redline, you know, so I wasn't getting there. No. It was just trying to hold it there because I wasn't trying to break the motor, because when I was on the dyno and he was setting up the rev limit, because I had the OEM motor mounts that are like almost 30 years old, the motor shook a good amount and I didn't like that. And I think that's what ultimately made the motor mount go. I think that I bounced off the limiter just like slightly on a pull, because it did happen in first at redline when I noticed that the motor went up. So I'm thinking that that might have caused it. But we do have polyurethane motor mounts, so they're that bright orange thing there. So this motor doesn't move at all. Alright guys, we have an actual exhaust. Now if you've been following this build for a while now, then you'll know that we were originally going to do a hood exit, and I actually had a hood exit. It's actually right here. It's just chilling there. Things happened. California decided to change their exhaust laws and make it a $1,000 fine rather than a fix-it ticket if you get caught with a loud exhaust. And the hood exit is insanely loud. You could hear the car from, not even exaggerating, probably a mile or more away. Like it was super loud. So that is a ticket for sure, and I don't want to mess with that. So this setup that we have is actually like perfect. It still sounds good. The resonator actually like makes the tone like a little deeper, and we do get the pop still, but so far we've yet to see flames. Honestly, not surprised on that one. I think the only time we're going to see flames out of there is when we go back to the tuner and we get the two-step set up. I'm just glad that it's done, really, because that took a long time. And just thinking about doing the exhaust was very intimidating to me, so that now that we finally have it done, and it's literally 3 pieces, and the whole exhaust comes off with 3 nuts, because it just has 3 V-bands pretty much holding it on. That's pretty good. Like, I'm very happy about that. If I ever need to take the exhaust off, it's super quick. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you did. Comment down below. And then hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.